Alright, I made it down to Waynesville, Missouri, and you know me, anytime I go anywhere, as my oldie but goodie fishing pole, I'm at Walmart. If you can see that, I'm at Walmart in Waynesville, Missouri. This is where you can get your fishing license at. I got a 2-day license with a trout stamp for 21 bucks is what it costed. But I picked up some redworms here. You know me, I use my minnow jig, and I minnow jig everywhere. I pull up sunfish on the little orange paste is what I pull up a bunch of different sunfish with. But with the minnow jig, I hit 2 small bass last year. So we'll see what we do this year. Alright, so I got some time to sneak away to get some fishing done. I'm headed to Roubidoux Creek, or like I like to say, Roubidoux Creek. There's the campground right here we're passing. We're driving down Route 66. There's the Roubidoux Creek campgrounds. And then here's the bridge right here. There's a bridge right here that Roubidoux Creek goes under, or Roubidoux Creek goes under. See, Roubidoux Creek. Now this is the old Route 66 byway that I'm on right now, and I'm traveling north. So if you're going over north, there's actually Roubidoux Springs right there and campsite. You drive back that way. But where I'm going is, I'm actually going through the park. So I passed all that, and to get into the park, you go over here on Olive Street, the next street up, the next street past where you turn into the springs. If you go a couple blocks in here, there's a park, and this is in Waynesville, Missouri. If you drive up, there's a town square. It's actually a town square. That's it. One city block of a square is the town square. So we're headed to the park right now, and then I'm gonna go all the way to the last parking of the park and then go in. Normally I have my minnow jig, and I minnow jig a creek somewhere, and then I switch over for my minnow jig and I put a crankbait on and crankbait it coming back. But my shoulder's been bothering me really bad, so I don't know. I'm gonna try to minnow jig some, and if the minnow jig ain't working, I got some redworms and bobber, and that's what I'm gonna be doing, some lazy man fishing. So we'll see. I'm in the park right now, Roubidoux Park right here from Waynesville, Missouri. And it's, you know, a tiny park here, but the creek runs along the park. So where I'm going to is I'm gonna try to park and walk with. I got my redworms I gotta take with me. I'm gonna take a bobber, a weight, and some hooks. I got cargo pants right now, so that's what I'm gonna do. So let's see what's going on here. Oh, and my coffee. I'm definitely gonna take my coffee. Alright, so the park is over here. There's the park. Came down the park, and there's an end, there's a T, and what happens is the spring kind of veers off the park, the stream veers off the park. So I come all the way over here, and then I'm gonna go to the springs right back in there. Now I don't want to carry too much with me, and I didn't bring any of my tackle like bags to carry, so I'm taking my pole, some weights, some hooks, one bobber, and probably just put some redworms in my cargo pockets. I don't have to take that whole thing. But either way, I'm gonna go. We'll do some jigging first, and if nothing happens, we'll put the redworm on and sit down for a bit. Now you can kind of still see my car in the background over there. There's the park over there, and where you get to the end corner, there's the concrete path ends, and then there's a little gravel path. I walked that last time. And really what I do is I find a little place to go down and go in, and that's where I start fishing at. Now I'm gonna be quiet. Hopefully you could hear this. Now the path is veering a little bit off the creek. The creek is on the ridge line right there, all the way over there. So right now I'm just walking the path to see if it comes in closer. I'm almost positive it does, but it was like over a year ago that I was out here. And there's the creek right there. In the spring. Oh man, and once I get here, everything starts, oh man, well, here's a problem. That's how I used to get across. Right there. It's all underwater. Oh, can you see? You would walk down there, and that would be dry to get across. But there was the big storm. All this was like really flooded about 2 weeks ago. So now I gotta find a different place to hit the spring. But see that little, well, you can't see too good right here. But the little island right there is what I would stand on and fish off of. But now I gotta find another way down, or another way closer to the water. Alright, I found the place. Actually, I was at here before, but man, this mud is terrible right now with all this rain that I had. I pulled up quite a bit of sunfish right here by this tree. And the water, see, it slows down right there, and the stream's over there. So I'm gonna jig over here and we'll see what we can do. But now that I'm closer to the water, it goes all the way back where I could have a little bit more place to fish and jig and everything else. See where I can put my camera at for now, because I gotta put my camera up also. This is why I love nature so much. That is a baby turtle. A baby turtle about the size of a quarter. Here you go. Where you go? Where you go? Where you go? It's so tiny. He's about the size of a quarter. Baby turtle swimming by. Just floating in the stream, enjoying life. Alright, been minnow jigging for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Didn't really catch nothing. Couple little bites, not bites, little nibbles, but they were little sunfish. I got a 2-inch minnow jig on, so I didn't catch them. But I always say if you get the smaller hooks, you catch anything. But I'm going to go ahead and put a bobber on and kind of go to the more touristy areas, because with these pants, these shorts on, and this brush right here, I got the itchies and scratchies going on. So I'll walk back that way. Alright, I switched to just a little weight with a hook and a red worm. And I know there's some sunfish over here, so I'm going to pull one of those up right now for you. If I could get my fishing hook out of my gym shoe. I had to go back and get my camera as fast as I put it down, as fast as it fell in the mud. So let me try to find someplace else. I didn't bring my tripod. If anybody could tell me what the hell kind of fish these are. They get bigger than this, but this is just a little one that I got. Since it's a big hook, I put the worm kind of sticking right out the top, so when they do grab it. Then this little circle around, I might put a whole worm on in the bobber. I got my night crawler and my bobber. And see how everything's flowing in a circle right here in the stream? That's where I'm trying to cast it at. Alright, check this out. As I'm fishing, I noticed this right next to my eye. It's like a silkworm or something. The highest thing has to be about 15 feet up. I don't know if you can even see that. It's like a silkworm, but look how small it is. To the human eye, you could barely see it. But yet it's coming all the way down from as high as you can see. You can't even see that sucker. It's crazy. There's another turtle right by my bobber. And believe it or not, that turtle came swimming up really fast because a fish was chasing it. Yeah, if you have little ones, if you put a little size, I think it's a size 12 hook, the tiniest hook, and you get some red worms or even some orange paste, and you fish along the streams, the side of the bed right here, the little ones can pull, little fish up left and right, and that's what hooks the little ones on fishing. Right now my shoulder's bothering me, so jigging's really not working too good. So I put the hook and the bobber on, and I'm just sitting right here. The bobber's sitting in a little, swirl right there, where it's actually just going in a circle with the worm. But just nature, everything you see out here is just amazing and beautiful. They had that big, it was flooded, so this stuff right here is man, really slippery and pasty. So the way I'm feeling right now, I should have stood on the beaten path instead of coming off the beaten path. Alright, now I'm in the Roubidoux Creek's park. Not the park, on the way to the campground. Now the stream is a little bit faster here, so a bobber is not really going to work for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put two slip weights, or not slip weights, but two little weights a little bit further up, so the weights will sit on the ground wherever it's at, and the worm will be up, kind of shaking. I'll show you in a bit. Here we go. Another thing why I love nature. If you can see the colors in that butterfly, blue and orange. Oh man, amazing. God, I love nature so much. And it's funny because the lady just asked me, she said, I think they love poop. And because the butterfly was sitting on poop, eating the poop, like on top of the poop. And she said she's seen another butterfly on the poop. One thing is, people are not picking up after their dogs. But I told her, I said, it's pretty funny I asked you what that was. I said, because if the butterfly flew away when I went to take the picture, I would have thought you were taking a picture of poop. Oh my gosh, you could not stop laughing. Everybody's so friendly here in Waynesville. I love it. Alright, I walked all the way back to the car to get some more weights. And look at, standing right next to me on the floor. Weights. So I don't believe I did that. So I'm going to go ahead and, I got more weights on to cast it further into the greener water. That's the deeper water. Just sitting here on the rock, you look around, because fishermen ain't the cleanest people all the time, but you get to see what they're using. Trout putty. It's like trout chum. That's what they're using to fish with over here. Alright, since I'm fishing on the bottom, I had to overcome and adapt. I left the weights all the way on the bottom, but I moved the hook up higher, so the weight will sit at the bottom and the bait will be up higher. LMAO, look what I caught. This is my little rig that I set up, but I got somebody else's little rig that they set up, but they had the right ones, but I was getting some nibbles. You can learn a lot from the local yokels. See this mini treble hook and the weights. That was on their line, the mini treble hook and the weights, which I'm keeping. Okay, that was my first day out there, and it's what you gotta do what the locals say, because they're trying to repopulate out here, and they're releasing smaller trout. You know, you gotta let the trout grow a couple years before they can repopulate. So they're saying use the smallest treble hooks or the smallest hooks with trout chum, and that's because they're not used to eating the natural stuff yet. So I caught one little sunfish, which you'll see, and then I got a couple nibbles, but I got a bigger hook. I don't got the smaller hook. Now, talking with some locals out here, one of them just really bothered me, because they're trying so hard to repopulate the trout in this area that they keep restocking it. Okay, so talking with one of the guy, well, local, he's here, but he's newer to fishing. He said, well, I know there's trout in here because I seen a lady down there and she was using a cast net and she pulled 3 trout out and she walked away. That is super illegal over here. So I don't know why people, for one, why people are doing it. You should leave it for 5 years, 10 years, listen to the regulations, and maybe they'll lift the regulations, because you're never going to repopulate it when you're using cast nets in a little stream to pull your trout out. Alright, I'll message you on day 2.